What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today we're going to be discussing a couple of interesting topics that have come up recently, some news and unsolved mysteries, and things to come in the future. So the first big thing I wanted to talk about was the whole issue of random weapon rolls. It was a thing back in Destiny 1, it wasn't perfect, but it did work decently well, and it was something to grind for, and obviously it isn't in Destiny 2, and a lot of people are very unhappy about this, because it takes away a big reason to play the game, because there's nothing really to grind for and chase, and it also takes away the players being unique and having roles to tailor to your own playstyle. So I wanted to actually go over what Bungie have said on the topic in an interview. I know a lot of people wouldn't have heard about it or may have forgotten, but wanted to highlight where Bungie actually stand on this and why it might change in the future, and of course my thoughts and suggestions. So before Destiny 2 actually came out, in an interview with Mashable, Luke Smith from Bungie talked about their decision to take away random weapon rolls and said there's more they want to do with it. So he said, how can my 2nd, 3rd and 10th Better Devil's hand cannon be interesting? That's a question we should be asking and answering as quickly as we can. We have ideas, and what I'd like nothing more than to share those ideas with you. We're up against a deadline. I don't know if they'll make it into our September 6th release date, but we have some ideas that we're pretty excited about. So as we know, obviously those ideas did not make it into the September 6th release date, but the good news is they do understand there needs to be some reason to make these weapons unique, and they do want to have your 3rd Better Devils be different from your 10th, like he said, which is essentially what everyone wants and what the community is definitely asking for. So contrary to what a lot of people think, Bungie know this fixed role thing isn't the best system and it does need work, and it is actually the case they didn't have time to implement this idea in the game for launch. So the problem is, of course, in the meantime, the majority of players don't like this fixed role weapon system, and we have no idea when they're actually going to add these ideas into the game. It's on the same list as private matches and ranked crucible mode, things they know the community wants and said is on their list of things they want to do sometime after the game launched. We don't know when, if it's going to be weeks or months from now. So I also wanted to talk about my own thoughts and suggestions on this whole weapon roll system, and what I think they should do personally. You guys know that when this was first announced that all weapons will have fixed rolls, I personally didn't agree with it. I wasn't a fan of the idea, and I said in the video that it could work if they have an absolute ton of weapons, and there needs to be basically as many as there were possibilities of random rolls in Destiny 1, and this game definitely does not have a lot of weapons, unfortunately, and it's about the same as Destiny 1 Vanilla, which is a huge drop-off for anyone coming from Destiny 1 with obviously 3 years worth of expansions and content. So my honest suggestion would be that they should bring back the random weapon rolls, but take out the absolute garbage perks as possibilities. So to use Destiny 1 as an example, take out Grave Robber, Exhumed, Danger Close, Guerrilla Fighter, all those absolute trash perks. They were the reason you didn't get as many God rolls back in Destiny 1, because they diluted the pool and made it harder to get the ones you actually wanted. So I think they should simply have random weapon selections and have good perks and even better perks as other options as well. So no matter what, you always have a good weapon, but if you want more, if you want to grind a bit more for a perfect weapon, you can get one with more stability or reload speed, something that tailors for your playstyle and is a 100% perfect gun as opposed to like an 80 or 90% perfect gun. Now, the likelihood of them just simply making all the weapons random isn't very high, to be honest. I think what they're most likely to do is add mods that are random perks in themselves, and that is going to be the grind. So you grind for a perfect mod, and you apply that to your weapon, and that also eliminates a lot of the RNG. So I honestly think that's what they're going to do. I mean, if you look at the mod system right now, it does seem very, very unfinished. I mean, for kinetic weapons, you have just a kinetic mod, which adds 5 attack level, which in itself means nothing as well. So the mod system definitely seems very unfinished, and I'm pretty sure this system and these ideas they're working on will be perks inside mods, and that way you can kind of grind for them, get a specific one, and then apply it to your weapon, which costs Glimmer. There's kind of a bit of sacrifice there. So I do think the system they're working on is going to be a mod system, and I hope they're going to add more mod slots than just the one. It's also very possible that in future weapons, in future events and DLCs, they're going to come simply as random rolls, because they're new guns, obviously, so it's very possible they could just have different perk rolls on them. But I doubt they'll just take a weapon like the Better Devils, for example, and just give it new random perks, because it wouldn't really make too much sense, especially seeing as everyone pretty much already has explosive payload. How would that work? So I'm not really too sure if they'll do that, but I think it's very possible, in my personal opinion and speculation. I think this mod system is going to be the new kind of random weapon roll selection. But I thought it was interesting just to note that Bungie are actually working on something apparently Luke Smith is excited about, and hopefully it adds some diversity and essentially makes your 10th Better Devils different from your 3rd one. But of course, let me know what you guys think of this, if you agree with me or have your own suggestions. Always love seeing what you guys think on this stuff. So moving on to a random bit of news, there's actually a rare emblem that's going to be available soon in-game, and it's going to be very exclusive to get. So you'll get this from the McFarlane figures, which have actually been running for a long time now, but this time they're doing a new set, I believe, of Cade, Akora, and Zavala, as you can see here. And then as well as that, you'll get the redeemable McFarlane Hellspawn emblem, and if you look that up on the wiki, you'll see this is what the Hellspawn emblem looks like. Not a bad emblem, looks okay. It's obviously rare, so it doesn't track anything, but this is the emblem you'll get with the figures. A lot of people thought this emblem might be related to Festival of the Lost for Destiny 2, because obviously it's called Hellspawn, it's very demonic and fits the theme, but it's actually related to these figures instead. And I'm pretty sure this is the first time they're actually doing some exclusive emblems for these things. They've been an official partner with Destiny 2 for a while now, so it makes you wonder if maybe the other partners are also going to have some emblems for their merchandise. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was to do with those random keys and chests that spawn around the factions, of course that happened during Faction Rally. Dead Orbit was actually the very first one to be found, but now we can actually hear all three of them and what they sound like with the music.
Trading words yet to be written.
So the first Dead Orbit one was from Mythical Random, the YouTuber that first found that. The second clip was from Kuna2 on Xbox, who actually emailed me the footage of the Future War Cult one. And the third one was from a YouTuber called CJA Gaming, who I believe was the first to find New Monarchy's dance party. So that's what all three of the faction music dance parties sound like. It's pretty funny because New Monarchy sounds a bit like a remix of the Destiny 2 soundtrack, whereas Dead Orbit and Future War Cult are like weird techno tracks. The Dead Orbit one is very upbeat, surprisingly, but those are all the soundtracks. Now, I still think there's got to be more to this because it does seem very, very kind of weird to have this only drop glimmer. I mean, if it was only just music playing, then maybe I could understand it as a sort of Easter egg, but the fact there's a chest that spawns that seems to only drop either 100 or 250 glimmer, it seems like there's got to be a lot more to this. I mean, maybe if it gave you like 50k glimmer to be able to afford the winning faction weapon, then it would make sense. And also bear in mind, this is a very, very, very rare drop from the raid. You have to beat the final boss. So this thing is not easy to come by, and all you get is basically 100 glimmer and a couple minutes of music. So I don't know, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Do you think there's more to this, or do you think it's just a simple Easter egg as it is? So as I've covered, there was and sort of still is a big mystery surrounding the Crimson Shadows on the Almighty and what they're basically doing there. Of course, there was a lot of speculation about them leading to an exotic quest, which would be very cool if it did happen, but one of my main points when I covered it was that these are most likely Calus's assassins, because that's what the Shadow is, and it makes the most sense that this is the story team adding a cool little touch to the campaign. Now, something else I also covered recently gives more evidence to this theory, and this is that Bungie changed the lore tabs on the Prestige raid gear, and I only just realized this when reading through them again today, that on the Hunter chest piece, Calus says, "My agents have left ahead of me to prepare for my arrival." So in there, he was, of course, talking to Ghoul, and he was talking about our solar system. So Calus said he sent some agents to our solar system, and other than Benedict, there aren't many others. So it's looking even more likely that the shadows lurking around could be some of Calus's agents, and also explains why they're just sitting around in random rooms doing nothing. Maybe they're just waiting for Calus to arrive. But there you go, a quick rundown of some pretty interesting topics. So if you enjoyed the video and want to help support the channel, then a like rating down below would be awesome. Make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already, because I've got a lot of cool videos coming up this week that you don't want to miss. If you want to watch another video I made talking about some really interesting Vex DLC areas and also a bunch of other stuff, then click the image on screen right now to watch it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.